Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, the honorable judge and the audience. Before that, let me introduce myself. My name is Jali. I am from SMAN Pekanbaru. I'm very pleased to be here today at the Lomba University, ANDALAS University. Thank you to the judge for giving me the opportunity to take a part in this PEKON Constitution 12. First of all, let us convey our praise and gratitude for the presence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the Lord of the universe, who has unceasingly provided guidance and pleasure so that we can all gather in this room without the slightest obstacle and in healthy conditions. Do not forget, let us offer our blessings and greetings to our Lord, the great Prophet Muhammad SAW. May we be given the introduction at the end of the video. Amen. Ladies and gentlemen, on these happy occasions, allow me to deliver a speech by items, a challenge political identity for young international perception of Pancasila. Indonesia is a multicultural country with various ethnicities, tribes, races, religions, and cultures. The Constitutional Court jurisdiction recognizes that there are 6 religions in Indonesia, namely Islam, Catholicism, Protestantism, Hinduism, Buddhism, and Confucianism, and 1,340 ethnic groups in Indonesia to be listed on the identity card of each citizen. The verdict has officially proven that Indonesia is a country that is rich in diversity of religions and ethnic groups wrapped in unity in diversity. Behind this diversity, there is the ideology that governs the personality of the Indonesian nation, Pancasila. Pancasila is a final ideology which contains the nation's personality, philosophical values, and present nation personality. Pancasila was born as the identity of the Indonesian nation, which aimed to unite the diversity of tribes, cultures, groups, language, custom, and especially religion as the most fundamental difference. At present, the Indonesian nation is undergoing tasks in maintaining and strengthening the Pancasila ideology. Existing identities, both in terms of religions and ethnicity, are used as tools to achieve an interest, especially during political contestations. That is why the portion of the younger generation in the community is a very necessary and very important role to avoid origin of Pancasila ideology. According to Aristotle, politics is an effort undertaken by citizens to realize the common good. But in reality, the intent is nothing when the common sense before the perpetrator before he holds power. Politics can be found in various elements and levels in people's daily lives. Identity exists in every human being as well as politics, which makes identity as their tool for achieving power. Identity politics is basically a political situation and manner that unite groups because there is a sense of injustice and dissatisfaction based on quality of group background, for example, ethnicity, race, religion, and gender. The condition of the Indonesian state has changed very much since the beginning of the independence goals. Development and independence are things that cannot be avoided as a prerequisite for achieving progress and independence goals, especially in terms of changing political identity. In theory, anti-politics can have both good and bad effects, like a double-edged sword in the diverse republic. For example, the formation of a religious-based party that upholds religious interests and goes in the direction of Pancasila can be said to be a good form of democracy in the reform era. Do you know one example of case of identity politics in Indonesia? Of course, we can remember that identity politics was found in Ahok case in 2016. Alright, I'll explain a little about this case. Lately, identity politics began to appear in the public since the existence of 2017 decade elections. Even though identity politics in Indonesia is not new, since the 1955 general election, identity politics has also existed. But why has it only been blowing so strongly since the election of 2017? Perhaps because of Ahok figure is that many people see that Ahok is a representative of minority group, and because of Ahok is the first Chinese leader to lead Jakarta. However, behind our expertise in leading Jakarta, Ahok made a very large blunder when he alluded to Almeida 51 when making a speech in the Thousand Island last October 2016. As it turns out, the result of the KPU decision on April 29 stating that the candidate peer of Governor Ahok Jarot was declared defeat, and also the result of the judge's verdict that sent Ahok to prison on May 9, 2017. Then, what is the impact if identity politics is maintained? The positive for the future is that leader will no longer be paid according to their performance. But with capital, the military will feel marginalized, and the political structure will become artificial by pressure from majority related issue will easily spread. The most dangerous impact if the identity politics is continuously maintained in the third principle of Pancasila, Indonesian unity will not be achieved. We can imagine when if antibiotics are still used, then peace between nations will be difficult to achieve. People consider the shot to be the most correct. Understanding as well as application of the meaning of Pancasila is very important for young people as actors of change and social control. Indirectly, the young generation is demanded to have personalities and behavior that reflect the value of Pancasila, which is good because the younger generation is considered to have a good intellectual abilities, though that the Indonesian nation has high hope for the younger generations. In such conditions, the question arises, where is the role of the younger generations and what step can be taken by the younger generations? Basically, the application of the value of Pancasila can be done by every person of the young generation, of every person, anytime, anywhere. As young generations, of course, they have the right environment to implement it. Young generations is considered to be the forefront in guarding and caring for the Pancasila, existence and essence of Pancasila facing challenge of identity politics. Because like it or not, every young generation must be involved in the current that exists today. I think that's all my speech. Thank you very much for your attention and the time given to me to deliver a speech on the podium. I think that's all my speech. Thank you very much for your attention and the time given to me to deliver a speech on the podium. I hope it is useful for you all. I'm sorry for any words or behavior that unpleasing your heart. Thank you very much for your attention and your kind attentions. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.